both. That's very nice to see that books are still popular. Who else? Okay. So here, as we can see, online gaming is the most common pastime, of course, in social networks, which provides an opportunity for connection, for interaction, and especially if there is a common interest. And unfortunately, many people experience online harassment while playing games that can also cross into the real life. So players have reported experiencing risks such as harassment, stalking, rape threats, even death threats. So these experiences are very traumatizing, and in some cases, even to identify information from whom it comes is sometimes unavailable. So the abuse could move from online to the offline dimension in real life. So we should be very, very cautious about this. Next slide. When we talk about these threats, cyberbullying and online predators is one of them. For example, in online gaming, the player personas can be subjected to attack, turning the game from imaginative adventure into humiliating ordeal that escalates, or some online hate speech, cyberbullying across multiple platforms and real life. So cyberbullying presents an abusive, targeted, deliberate, and repeated behavior intended to harm another person through technology such as social networks or video games. Sometimes you can come across that someone sends you sexual images or videos that are created and distributed in a form of bullying, or maybe in an email accounts and social media profiles to humiliate or hurt someone. So all these things can happen not only via online games and social networks, but also via text messages, chat rooms, online forums, or any other social media websites. We should definitely be cautious on these places, and especially when it comes to sharing private information. On the next slide, you can see that one of the most common platforms for such virtual interacting is Roblox. I don't know how many of you are using Roblox. If you do, please enter one. It's very risky to post private information, and that's why social boundaries online is crucial. Sometimes someone may ask you to share something private from your life or from your home. You should be very careful about this. It could be some awkward moment. Maybe someone can ask you for your home address or your neighborhood or school. Just be mindful. Now, phishing, I don't know how many of you heard for phishing. Phishing is what cybersecurity professionals call the use of emails that try to trick people into clicking on malicious links and attachments. It can happen to teachers, parents, anyone. Recently, I receive all the time some text messages or strange emails saying that I won a lottery, or there is a message saying, hey, thought you might like this. And those messages can even come from someone like familiar name, like a name from your address book, from a friend. So I suggest you first contact your friend via phone or directly and ask, did you send this for me? Or if you just see any strange email, either block it to spam. And if you're uncertain if it's a verified message or email, feel free to ask someone or consult with your parents, teachers, or maybe some other tech-savvy friend of yours. Now we will go through several tips that could be useful on the following slides, both to teachers and parents, and of course children as well, when it comes to human interaction, risks, and behaviors. So working together with your parents and with your children is really important. Discovering things as a family and trying to figure out what platforms your children are using. And also you as a children is always good maybe to share what, if you're spending some online time on specific games. I know this from my personal practice. Many parents join their children playing together at Roblox or maybe some other online game platform. Or, of course, when it comes to social networks, privacy should be respected. I'm not so much fan of helicopter kind of stalking of your children, but of course, building trust and confidentiality is very crucial, so the child can always reach out and ask you, or is there any doubt, to reach out and ask for advice. Now, the next slide is equally important. Having an understanding of the devices that are available in the house and platforms that are being used is crucial. So what type of devices you agree to use at home? Is there any rules after certain times? Shall you all go offline, for example, after 9 p.m.? What kind of services do you plan to use? So again, the dialogue within the family is very, very important. The next slide presents firewall and antivirus software on all devices. If you are uncertain, if you're using PC, that's very crucial to install some antivirus program. Cybersecurity is an important part of the online safety, so devices should be protected from any malware or viruses in the same way that you would protect, as we've seen earlier from Venhu's presentation, as you would protect your home from intruders. So parents should be putting this sort of protection in place for their children, as well as teachers in schools. If you're uncertain, probably there is some technical help in schools that could install the virus. And of course, on your mobile phones, if you got some pop-up advertisement or something, do not click. I always say to all friends around me, my relatives who are elderly, do not click on some suspicious links, because that is a certain way how you can catch some virus. Okay, next slide. So again, communication within a family about how you will use technology and how you will use the internet is something that is very useful to have. What kind of rules will you decide to, implement in your home in regards to taking and uploading photos? What will be the rules? Also, creating the culture of support is crucial. I always say that when it comes to uploading and sharing photos online, the rule is if you in the future, in the 5, 10, or 20 years, are going to apply to some job or you're going to go to college, always think, would you be proud, or would you be happy that your future professors, employers see those photos of you publicly online? So be very mindful. There are other ways that you can share some private photos via email, maybe via some instant messaging platforms, but have in mind privacy, data privacy. Everything that is public stays in public. Internet remembers everything, so be very careful. Now, the next slide, this is more for parents and teachers to have a good, comprehensive understanding of how the children are spending time online. So take interest in what your children are doing online. This is also for teachers. If you just see that someone someone's behavior changed, you can always reach out and ask. Parents should be aware of what their children are doing online without being intrusive or judgmental. Again, building trust is very important. It's very important that your child could reach out to you and ask for advice, or if there's something bothering them, to have the confidence and trust to reach out and ask for help. So having a mindful approach to technology and your child is very relevant. Now, speaking of that, you should also consider the digital age of consent. There are age ratings on games, social media, and applications that can be useful guide for parents. Equally, there are websites that provide useful reviews of popular games and applications, so you should check terms and conditions. What age of consent is the most appropriate for your child? Next slide. Also, when we talked earlier about sharing private information online, I assume this is not for children, but for parents and for teachers. Do control the use of your credit card and other payment mechanisms. Connect 2 or 3 steps of the authentication. When you're purchasing something online, devices have settings which can disable in-app purchases or the use of credit cards online. So before a device is given to a child, it is important to enable these settings, so there are some control over these online transactions. Next slide, please. This is very important. If problem happens or something, you should know how to report that problem online. So it's very crucial, and if something goes wrong, you should be able to tell your parents or trusted adult. But there are also helplines that could help with reporting within the application or game. So reporting is important and needs to be encouraged. Children should know how to do this. Again, the way a parent reacts is critical. If they're telling you about a problem, that's a good thing. They're not keeping it to themselves. So your reaction will determine whether they would come to you again if something else goes wrong. So having this friendly approach with a child is relevant. The same goes for teachers. Just always addressing and saying to children, if you have any problems, if someone bullies you online, if someone sends you hateful messages, if someone is molesting you or sending strange photos, please, you can always reach out after class and we can solve it together. On the next slide, this is more about the next level of digital skills, is to understand how advertising works. So if we are getting a service for nothing, meaning not paying for it, it is because we as users are the product. So all our information and data are being used, either via analytics or via collecting so the system knows more about us, our behavior. So children and young people need to understand that very often they're giving permission to apps and games to access their data. So having data privacy knowledge about this is important, as well as discussion about this. You can discuss this with your teacher, with your parents, remind them to come and ask if they're unsure. And this also brings us to previous thing I mentioned. Be mindful what you're posting online. You certainly wouldn't post some intimate photos publicly online or some status. So everything stays on the internet. And of course, create the culture of support, not only between parents and children. teachers and children, but also you among each other. Peer pressure knows to be really bad. There are always some bullies, not cyber bullies, but bullies in the classroom or maybe from other school, from other class. And we all went through this. I went through this. I believe many of you had in primary and high school someone who picked up on you, who weren't very nice. So it's always good to turn to a friend, to a teacher or a parent if you have some trouble with it. Don't keep it to yourself. Just try to communicate with someone, because growing up sometimes can be tough. We all went through it, and having a good support system, even if it's one good friend or two friends or a teacher that you can confide in, is very valuable for overcoming such obstacles. Now, let's chat a bit about meeting people on and offline. One of the most widely shared online safety messages is, you probably heard, don't talk to strangers, or stranger danger, stories of pedophiles. So many parents, of course, are full of fear. This message is important, but children do talk to strangers, we've seen, and this isn't necessarily always going to cause some problems. If you feel uncomfortable when speaking to someone online, if someone sends you some inappropriate messages or asks you some maybe private question, or any question that you think is wrong, then you should tell someone. You should tell a parent, teacher, friend. By telling someone, you are not keeping this problem to yourself, and potentially that problem isn't going to escalate. You probably experienced many times, as we all are, that words can hurt over the screen. Even those hateful messages can make you feel bad or hurt. So having someone to share this is important. If someone else is behaving in a wrong way, like sending you, for example, inappropriate image on social network site, Facebook or whatever, it is right to respond by telling anyone about this, as well as maybe block that person or just report and take some further measures. It's very crucial that you block that person from the start and report that profile. Most sites have such tools and mechanisms where you can control with whom you can continue talking or chatting, whom you can block. So again, dialogue and discussion with someone is very important. And we are coming to the previous, from the start, when we talked about importance of personal information. Make a dialogue conversation with your friends, teachers, and you teachers among each other. What is okay to share? Just a blanket statement saying don't share any personal information online isn't helpful. You can't do very much online these days without sharing some personal information. So talk what would be okay to share and what not. Would it be, for example, okay to share a photo in bikini or in bathing suit from the beach publicly? Or would it be okay to share maybe some private photo from your home or in front of your school that is recognizable where it is? It is something that you should discuss among each other. What is okay to post publicly and what is not? And finally, discuss implications of posting images. This is what I said earlier. A conversation about online reputation is important. What will someone think when they Google you and find some embarrassing photos or tweet, which was maybe using inappropriate language in the future? So remember, there is often no context to an image that appears online. It could easily be misinterpreted. So parents should also consider the images that they might post of their children. This is something I tell to all of my friends and my colleagues who have children. Oh, I see massively sharing photos online of babies, of their children without their consent. Would it be okay if you turn 18 and you find out on these sites publicly photos of you as a baby, as a toddler, all mushy, or any other private photos when you are adult? I assume you wouldn't feel comfortable, right? So I also urge to parents to be mindful when they're posting photos of their children. If they want to brag or share among their friends how their child is impressive or improving, you can always share it via email, via instant messaging, not publicly. You should also think about your child as well, because the child often do not want to see without consent their photos online. So the final message is that we are entering the new era where digital technologies are in an accelerated way developing, and we have a huge digital divide. I've seen a comment in the chat box from one of the teachers that many students are poor in remote villages. Maybe they do not have the internet. So we have this gap between those who do have access to internet and advanced technologies and those who do not. So we should be mindful for both groups and respect each other. We are entering the age of artificial intelligence and metaverse. Many of your peers in maybe some advanced countries are using. So having a good digital skills and knowledge about this is the message both for teachers, parents, and children. So knowledge is power, I always like to say. Getting to know your rights online, improving your digital skills, learning about online safety is crucial in order for you to navigate safely and securely online. And also, do play with yourselves outside online world. There are books, there are board games, there are many other means that you can socialize. Online worlds is one of them. So be mindful about using the technology and keep it safe. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for engaging in this child online protection training and information session. Now it's time for the Q&A session. We encourage you to ask questions or share your thoughts on any aspect of the child online protection. You can either raise your hand or you can type your question in the Q&A box. Let me check the Q&A box. Okay, we have one question coming. Could you please send your PowerPoint to the webinar chat? Sure. Any other questions regarding the child online protection? Could I get the presentation file? Amma, can we send the presentation file to the participants?
Yes, let me share the presentation, the PDF version for your kind reference in the chat box. And also, we have another question from Jardudet. Sorry if I pronounce your name not correctly. Yes, the first one. Could you please read? Yeah, read.
Yeah, yes. Hello, everyone. Did you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, my name is Jardudet. Yes,
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. My question is nowadays our students, they always use seeing social media and a viral content. So they believe it's easy, not searching first, not thinking first, just believe that. So how should we do with this problem?
Okay, I'd like to invite our expert, Dr. Danica, to answer your question. Dr. Danica, the floor is yours.
Okay,
Yes.
shall I repeat if I understood well connection, how you as a teacher can explain children in regards to some viral content online?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Viral content like on TikTok?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, of course, it depends what is the nature and what is on the content. Is it some maybe the challenge that could hurt them physically or psychologically? As we know that in the past and currently there are many TikTok challenges that nowadays kids and teens are following. So I think dialogue with them, maybe setting up one class and demonstrating what could be hurtful, could be useful, and just talking, making a dialogue, like, in a circle, not lecturing them, but just making a dialogue with them. What do you think? Is this good or not? What do you think about this viral video? Just maybe, analyzing these viral videos with them, just asking them what do they think, and through this analysis they will come to conclusion and realization whether is this good or not, and just creating dialogue. Because if you just say no, this is wrong viral video, it's just invite them to see these viral videos and analyze them. What do they show? What do they invite teens to do? Is it useful to hold your breath as long as you can? What are the consequences? Will you be hurting yourself by, painting or whatever? Those kind of things. Just creating dialogue around it, and then coming to conclusion that this could hurt yourself or this could harm you in any other way.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for answering my question. That's very, very nice to hear that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for asking the question, and thank you, Dr. Danica. Now there's a new question coming, and also a question in Thai. Sorry, I will read the English question first. And Kun Song, would you like to help us translate the Thai into English? Now the question is, if a student came to discuss that a friend posted her picture and wrote sexually, what advice should we give? Okay, let's hear the Dr. Danica's response.
If a student came, okay, so this is the question from teacher, I guess, right? If a student came to discuss that a friend posted her picture and wrote sexually, what advice? Then that friend is not a friend. If that person is doing such things, if a student comes to you, I would actually invite both of them, and just again have a conversation why a friend posted such thing, and letting them know about the consequences of such act. And I would kindly ask that friend to delete and remove that picture. And to that student, I would advise not to share any photos with that friend, because that person is indeed not a friend. So I hope that helps.
Okay, any more questions? If not, I would like to invite you to take a group photo. Please open your camera if you can, and be ready with your perfect smile.
Well, I believe there is a question in Thai.
Yeah, but Kun Song, could you please help us to translate the question?
Sure everyone สามารถส่งคำถามมาในแชทได้เลยค่ะหรือว่าจะเปิดไมค์ก็ได้ค่ะ
Yeah, Kun Song, we saw the question in Thai, and we wish to have English translation.
Okay, for the next question is about how to protect. Did you hear me, everyone? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, it's about it's about how to protect the thief from cyber. For example, call center or someone that we don't know and have called us by mobile phone. How can we protect myself from that?
Yes, Dr. Danica?
If I understood correctly, how can we protect ourselves if someone unknown is calling us on the mobile?
Yeah.
Did they harm you, or I mean, is it like a wrong number, or in what context?
Yes.
If it's someone. Yes. Okay, so we can, if that person is constantly calling or disturbing us, we can always block that number. Block.
Okay, I saw the last question. How to stop children play game a long time? It's about how to balance our time.
Yeah. Definitely what we talked earlier, set up the rules within. Our after their homework. And also, it's not a good idea that you also show interest in those games that they're playing.
Recording in progress.
Show an interest and see where your child is spending time virtually. You don't need every time to join them, but maybe once or twice. I know many cases where parents and children are playing together on Roblox. I have a niece, and my brother and I, three of us, go to Roblox and play some game, go fishing, whatever. And we are adults. So maybe you show interest and say, okay, I'm really curious. Please teach me. What kind of game is that? And then you will learn what kind of dynamics, what your child is doing there. So, A, show interest and join them. And B, you set up the rules, how long, in hours or 1 hour or half an hour they will spend daily, or maybe per week. It's something you decide,
Thank you, Dr. Danica. So now it's time for a group photo. As I said, I'd be grateful if you could open your camera and be ready with your perfect smile. And our colleagues will help us to take a photo.
Hi, Wenhui. Thank you so much for the presentation. And I think we would like to try and invite everyone, but it's so lovely. We have so many participants today, but unfortunately, we won't be able to turn on all the cameras for the participants. So if it's okay, we will only, I think, select several participants. If they would like to have their cameras switched on, if you can raise your hand in the chat. Then we will try and switch on. We will upgrade you to panelists, and then you can turn on your camera. If you can raise your hand now in the chat, and then we'll turn it on for you. Thank you. So we will give maybe 2 minutes for everyone who wants to turn on their camera, to raise their hands. Okay. I hope we can do it for everyone. There's a lot of participants today. I really thank you for your support. Okay, maybe 30 more seconds. We will maybe start taking some photos. Thanks for raising your hands. It's really helpful.